next video, we're going to talk about the stove situation. And really the conclusion about what kind of a stove to use is really tied into another topic we're going to discuss in this video, which is the solar and the photovoltaic calculation. I mean, ideally I'd like to have an induction plate, but realistically that may not be possible. So then what is the next best alternative, and what might make it possible to have an induction plate, you know, what my solar and my electrical needs really are going to be, and also how is this going to fit on the roof. Okay, because again, this is a small van, so I need to take advantage of every square inch, and the roof configuration is going to be critical. So with that, let's get started, and I will see you in the next video. And then the stove. Now, the other thing that I've done with this is I've done all the calculations for the electrical loads and the PV capacity and, you know, size of the inverter, what it needs to be, and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, we were talking about an induction hot plate, you know, electric.
Right, instead of a...
But that really, that causes a burden.
Right.
You know, that's a big burden on the system. Yeah. So what I've decided is I'm going to either have either propane, or I've been looking at also these alcohol burning stoves.
Yeah, too much mess, as far as I could tell.
For the alcohol? Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember it's always vaporing, right? So all you're doing, turn it on and off. All you're doing is opening the top of it and lighting it, right?
Right.
And
it
use
wicks.
a damper. It's a wick type of thing.
Yeah.
And to me, even those little Chinese butane.
Yeah.
I mean, they're small.
Right.
And they put out a massive amount of heat.
Yeah.
And you can get like go to the Chinese store and you get like 4 cans of propane for $3.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the point is,
that's
you know,
the impression that I got from, you know, all the YouTube testimonials, is that they use so little of this fuel.
It's the butane that has the major amount of heat. I mean, the gas is a lot hotter than propane.
Yeah. Well,
but and it's so small. I mean, it's got a little box,
well,
plastic box like a
and you can
drill box.
You can move it. I mean, you can pick
right.
it up and put it on the table outside. You know.
Or if you want two, you can have 2 of them.
Right.
I mean, they're that small that you can, if you want to, you know.
Well, anyway, I sized.
As I say, the only issue there would be the canisters and whether you know. You know, for you, I don't know. You're not going for 10 months. You know,
right?
You're going for a weekend or something.
Right.
You'll never, you know, if you get 8 of those little bottles.
Yeah.
You know, 2 4-packs can't be more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would last you 2 months.
Right.
I mean, you're not. You know what I mean?
Well, I sized this first. I sized the stove itself basically, and then the size of a 1-gallon propane bottle would fit right there. You know, in this closet space. You know.
I'd sure look into those little Chinese butane specials.
Okay, I'll do that.
I've got one if you want to play with it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is where the stove was going to be, and then I'll have a pull-out cutting board type thing, you know, in this closet, and this is basically the pantry for the food and stuff.
Right.
In here.
Refrigerator.
And the refrigerator.
That's going to be the biggest physically. Well, depending on.
Okay, so here's the fridge. Okay.
Are you doing
here?
Are you doing a freezer?
It's going to be a single space. You can either freeze or you can refrigerate.
Right.
Okay, so it's not going to be a dual zone.
I have one of those actually.
Yeah.
But for my business, I bought one, and it works fine. It's either 110 or it's 12 or 24 volt.
Right. Okay.
And it's a big chest.
Yeah. Well.
And it was like $1,500.
Yeah,
expensive thing.
They're not cheap.
No.
These are about
not those,
$700 or $800. It's a 12 volt.
Yeah.
And you can't see the whole thing, but the blue goes all the way up here. Basically, it's going to be under the stove. Okay.
Right. My only recommendation is you need to put extra cooling in for it, because a lot of people have these things and they're finding that if they don't throw some extra fan there or something. You know, you can get a little computer fan or something to get
Right.
a little air there. There, you know, there.
Well, this can, this can be open actually to this area.
Right.
Here's the door, and here's the, open space.
It had suicide type of door thing, didn't it? I can't remember what.
Actually, I'm going to put it on drawer slides, so it'll slide out into this area,
Right.
and then the top.
Right.
It opens from the top. Okay, so that's it. And then let me just put in the bed again, just to show you how it fits into that. That's sort of the way it fits. And as I said, I'll figure out a way to support this as a bed at some point. But my idea is this is going to be all aluminum. The bed is going to be all aluminum, L channel and strap.
It's not a real big space, but I'd highly recommend that ceramic coating. I mean that.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
You went the step further and actually contacted him. That was very good.
Yeah.
And that guy, whatever that was selling that, supposedly it was ceramic, but he was using a roller to put it on.
Yeah.
They're even warning that when you mix it, not even to get the mixer close to the sides, or you break up the little crystals.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, one of that video that I gave you, we basically showed the guy mixing it, and then they were telling, he says, well, don't slam the mixer. It's got a mixer on it with a drill. Don't slam it up against the side of or down on the bottom of the bucket, because you'll damage the ceramic. And they're talking 6 coats. I mean that's going to be built up pretty quick, pretty thick. And then you can buy little liquid gauges for liquids or whatever. But I think I believe in that stuff.
Yeah, and I will do the inside, and then as you said, I'm going to do the roof also.
Well, yeah, you can do the underside, because I kind of read your thing there.
Right.
She recommended underneath, or you can paint the top of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It's not that big area. Maybe it's worth doing the top and bottom.
So let's see, what else do I have going here? I guess that's it for that.
Yeah, I think that's almost.
Oh, this is where I'm going to put. I'm looking at the. All right, so here, let me show you about the batteries and the inverter. This was an interesting interview. This is your guy.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Did you watch this?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Battleborn. They're not cheap.
Right.
He's the one that has the what I want to do, the Tesla battery.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm kind of. He just put a new video out too. I don't know if you saw that or not, talking about what that Tesla battery is doing for him. And,
right.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that.
You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
So I really kind of follow him. Are you?
Okay. Well, anyway, so I investigated this kit, and they seem to have all of the right components here. It's all Victron and it's Battleborn.
I'd go with Victron. Stay with Victron. Even with the small inverter, I would. That's mine.
So anyway, I sized all of this stuff.
Right.
Okay. To put in the van.
How many? What's about 3,000 watts? The
the inverter? Inverter is 2,000 watts, I think.
Yeah, that's probably plenty, especially if you're not going to do.
Yeah, it's 2,000 watts. This is 100 amp hour, 200 amp hours, 100 amp hour per battery. So this probably looks like. I like this solution because they've obviously thought this out, that this all works together. So anyway, this is where I'm envisioning, these components to go. These batteries could possibly go in the footwells. The
Battleborn.
Yeah, the Promaster City comes in a cargo version and a passenger version. All right, so the passenger version obviously has a place for people to put their feet. Now in the cargo version, they just put a piece of metal over that. So you've got 2 cavities, right there.
Sure, that could be
under the floor.
Use that.
So I'd have to look at that and see how I could ventilate it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then the batteries should sealed.
Well, yeah, but you don't
But
want you got temperature control them too, sort of.
well, you don't want to get them too hot. But
Yeah.
the major thing is the problem getting too cold.
Yeah.
But all the electronics is built into the Battleborn.
Uh-huh.
So all the BMS, everything's built into it.
Yeah.
So it'll stop working if it's overstressed.
Yeah.
What were your batteries? What did you figure on your two batteries?
200 ampere.
And
100 amp hour.
what were they going for? They're probably not cheap.
This is part of the package. I did look at the individual costs of them. Here they are, $18.98
Each?
No, for the two
For
of
the
them.
two. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tesla S, thank you. I want 6 of them.
Well, Tesla is good, but you gotta.
You gotta, as I say, the BMS system that the beginning this morning did is out of somewhere in Europe, and it talks to the Vitron and a whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to watch a little bit of his stuff. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And as I said, he's done a great job on his solar panels. So he's got huge solar panels.
But wasn't the
450 watt solar panels.
Wasn't the point of this interview that this guy who put in the Tesla and the Victron and everything?
Well,
I mean, he has to spend a lot more time monitoring it, whereas these guys say with their system it's all sort of drop in.
Well, they understand that he didn't spend the money on the BMS. He has a manual BMS that doesn't automatically do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So too big.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the only place where I could figure to put that inverter and all the rest of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest spike. So that's got to go under the bed there.
But you can go sideways with it. You don't.
Yeah, that is sideways.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, let me get rid of this stuff, and we'll go to the roof.
Now, with the understanding is that some of the things, refrigerator,
What about it?
I mean, it really depends on what, 2,000 watts is what you're looking at for the inverter.
Yeah.
And what are you mainly running off of that?
Yeah, it's the biggest. I'll show you.
You're mainly your electronics.
I've got a sheet. So here's what it is. I was thinking of a microwave. Well, I just put this in here. I put 0 on there. I zeroed that out because the total of this comes up to 1,667 watt hours and efficiency. So basically the daily watt hours needed are 2,000 watt hours. Convert that, your battery size calculator, 2,000 watt hours, lithium 183 ampere hours. So 200 would be plenty.
Is this a chart that you can?
Yeah, you can. It's like a
that.
spreadsheet. You can change these numbers.
Email that to me if you would.
And then the solar panel size calculator. So these are my daily watt hours.
Mm.
So I need about 333 watts, assuming 6 hours a day.
Based on sunlight.
Yeah. Yep. So we're looking at, I'm needing about 330, and that's for these loads that I've defined up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got a laptop, I've got a fridge. These are the watt hour contributions down here. This is a pressure cooker.
Instapot. Yeah.
Yeah, max air fan, lights and chargers. This is where I decided to
Get rid of that.
forget about the induction hot plate because 1,500 watts, and you might have that on for a while if you're heating something up. So I just decided.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going for size and you want something that really, really gets the heat going, the butane, little Chinese butane cookers,
right,
are they got self-igniting and.
So after you do this calculation, you start to see what you're going to kind of need.
Right.
Something between 300 and 400 watts photovoltaic. You're going to want about 200 ampere hours for batteries, and then that determines your rooftop configuration. which I will show you now.
What
Solar panels. All right, so here's the LG one. I think that's the one that you talked about.
The 365.
365.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got 40 some volts or more. In which the, so say you're
I think the Victron stuff can handle just about any voltage, can't it?
they make anything to handle anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Vitron, I mean, but the higher the voltage you are, the better off you are because
Oh, yeah, I
you're going to have
understand.
less. You're going to have less heat loss and all the rest,
Yeah.
from the controller. Plus, as the panel, get shading, whatever, the voltage will go down. Well, if you're still trying to charge 24 volts or 12,
Yeah.
you can go a lot further down, right?
Yeah.
And still, crank out some
So
energy.
anyway, yeah, I'll buy. I'm thinking of one panel, like
Yeah.
40 inches wide, 66 inches
Right.
long, that kind of a thing. And
And that's all you really need if you're talking
Right.
300 watt. And even if you decide that you can always, if you've got the power, you use you can get a single plate, one hot plate, induction hot plate,
Yeah.
and that's not going to take up that much room.
Right.
So you could do, I mean,
I'll experiment.
Right.
Well, once I've got this thing
well, the
built.
point is the point is if that's your backup, or if you're at night, you're in a Walmart special, you don't want to open the doors, you want to screw around with propane or butane or whatever, because anytime you burn gases, you're going to create moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is then you can swap back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not talking about a big physical thing that you have to store.
Right.